Sometimes life gives you what you always dreamed of, but not the way you imagined. She spent her life serving people who never looked her in the eye. Until one day, one man did. He saw something no one else had ever seen in her. But what happened after? Their wedding wasn't a fairy tale. It was a test that would reveal what love truly means. Her name was Amira. She worked 12-hour shifts in a small café, surviving on tips that barely covered the rent. Every day she smiled, even when her feet ached, even when people ignored her. Good morning. But behind that smile was a promise she'd made to her late mother. One day, I'll make something of my life, and I'll never let anyone make me feel small again. Then, one afternoon, a man named Adam walked in. Not the kind of man she was used to, polite, calm, with eyes that noticed everything. He asked for coffee, stayed for an hour, and left a generous tip. The next day he came back. And the next. Weeks passed. Amira realized he wasn't coming for the coffee. He was coming for her. They talked about life, dreams, and how wealth means nothing if your heart is poor. He told her he was a businessman, but he spoke more about people than profits. And one evening, under the same flickering cafe light where they met, he proposed. It felt impossible. A poor waitress marrying a millionaire. People whispered, laughed, called her lucky. But Adam just smiled and said, "She's not lucky, she's deserving." Their wedding was simple, no cameras, no guests, just love. And that night, Adam gave her an envelope. Inside was a single letter. "Tomorrow morning, you'll wake up in our new home. But you won't find me there. Don't search for me. Live the way you've always lived, with courage, with kindness, with purpose. If you truly love me for who I am, you'll understand what this means." Amira froze. Was this a test? A trick? A goodbye? Days passed. No word. The mansion felt emptier than her tiny apartment ever had. Nights were the hardest. Silence wrapping around her like a cold, unyielding blanket. She cried quietly in the dark, longing for the warmth of a hand she could no longer hold. Every corner of the house reminded her of him. A glass on the table, a scarf left behind, a faint scent in the air. Her reflection in the mirror seemed stranger than ever. She barely recognized the exhausted, tear-streaked woman staring back. Memories of their laughter together haunted her, making the emptiness sharper, almost unbearable. Yet, through the loneliness, she remembered her mother's words. Strength isn't about never falling. It's about rising when you do. Instead of breaking down, she did something no one expected. She reopened the old cafe. Not for money, but to hire women like her. Women who needed a start, a voice, a chance. She worked harder than ever, but this time each exhausted step was filled with purpose, not despair. She stayed late into the nights, teaching, guiding, and lifting spirits, even when her own heart ached with longing. She shared her story with her new employees, tears sometimes rolling freely, and they listened in awe, inspired by her resilience. The women she helped reminded her that love could take many forms, not just romantic, but human, powerful, sustaining. She learned to find beauty in small moments, a genuine smile, a heartfelt thank you, a shared story of courage. And slowly, her grief began to transform into something quieter, stronger. Hope. Months later, a man walked in. Same calm eyes, same smile. "Adam," he said softly, "now I know you didn't marry wealth. You married love." Amira smiled through her tears. "Love doesn't need gold," she said. "It just needs truth. Some stories don't end where you think they will, because the real magic in life isn't in what we gain. It's in what we understand along the way. When love is tested, when silence speaks, when life turns in ways you can't predict, that's when you start to see. So if this story made your heart pause for a moment, don't stop there. Keep watching, because some lessons reveal themselves only when you're ready to see them.